Have you heard of the Trinity? It says God is one, but also three. Three persons, yet one being. The Father is God, the Son is God, the Holy Spirit is God. But they are not three gods, only one. But wait, is this divine truth or a contradiction dressed in a mystery? Let's talk about the logical problem of the Trinity, the problem that no Christian theologian has solved for over 2,000 years. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Greetings, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tawheed Podcast. Before we delve into the logical problem of the Trinity, let me just start by making a theological, philosophical, and logical interfaith statement that is meant to gently challenge my Christian brothers and sisters while showing sincerity from a Muslim perspective. Because we often hear this propaganda all over the media and constantly repeated by the right wing and the Christian apologists for their political affairs. But I want you to stop what you're doing and hear this from me personally. And I am confident I can say I speak for the entire Muslim Ummah. As a Muslim, I'm not attacking Jesus or Christianity. I am inviting reflection. Because when you love someone, you want them to know the truth, don't you? I speak not from hate, but from hope, that you look past tradition and seek the message Jesus truly lived. That is the worship of the one God, the creator of all that exists. If you truly love Jesus, follow his teachings, not the words man later wrote about him. I don't speak to attack, but to awaken, not to offend, but to offer a mirror. For truth, when spoken with love and sincerity, cuts not to harm, but to heal. I speak to my Christian friends, not as an enemy of your faith, but as one who honors Jesus perhaps more than you know. You see, I believe in Jesus, not as a myth, not as a metaphor, but as a mighty prophet, alayhi salam, a man of truth, a servant of God, a voice in the wilderness calling to the worship, not himself, but the one who sent him, the creator of all that exists. I ask not that you abandon faith, but that you examine it. Peel back the layers of centuries and councils and traditions and translations and ask yourself, are you following Jesus or following what others said about him? Did he ever say, I am God, worship me? Or did he fall on his face in prayer, crying to the one above? Did he preach the Trinity? Or did he declare the greatest commandment? Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. These are not attacks, these are questions, honest ones, rooted in love and sincerity. Because when you care for someone, you want them to walk in light, not shadows of man made creeds. We Muslims follow Jesus too, not the Jesus of the painting and church doctrine, but the Jesus of Nazareth, the humble, the faithful messenger who spoke the same truth as Abraham, Moses, and Muhammad, saying, worship God alone, the creator of all that exists. So if you love Jesus, then follow his path, not just his name. Faith should not be inherited blindly. It should be sought with sincerity, tested with reason, and held with conviction. Because on that day, the day of judgment, when all souls stand before Allah Azza wa Jal, no label will save you, only the truth will. And truth does not fear questions. So I am asking you, what do you know about the Trinity? This theological concept that has sparked confusion, debate, and division for nearly 2 millennia. If questions about your faith doesn't scare you, let's have a logical, historical, and even a rhetorical conversation that questions the coherence of the Trinitarian belief from both reason and early Christian history as well. And whether you're a student of theology, a curious seeker of knowledge, or simply interested in interfaith dialogue, this conversation here aims to provide a nuanced and rich informative information that sheds light on this fascinating topic. So let's dive in and discover the truth together. And as always, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out either by email or by commenting in the comment section. I'm always willing to make the time to have a respectful conversation. May Allah Azza wa Jal guide all of us, because that's all we're after is guidance. And that guidance is not found in the Trinity. The doctrine of the Trinity says God is one in essence, but three in persons. The Father is not the Son. The Son is not the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is not the Father. Yet each is fully God. This is not hierarchy. It's not three roles. It's not three modes. It's three distinct persons, co equal and co eternal, all sharing the same undivided divine nature. Sounds complex, doesn't it? Well, it gets worse. But here is where logic comes in. The law of non contradiction says a thing cannot be and not be at the same time in the same sense. So, if God is one and also three in the same way, that is a contradiction. My dear Christian brothers and sisters, they say God is one being, three persons. But what does that mean? What is a person and what is a being? No clear definition is given. And the more you try to define it, the more absurd it becomes. Is each person one third of a God? Then no one is fully God, then. Is each person fully God? Then you have three gods, not one. Either way, the math and logic don't add up. When pressed, Christian scholars say the Trinity is a mystery beyond human reason. But that's not an answer, it's a retreat. You can't solve a contradiction by calling it mysterious. Imagine someone saying, one equal three, but it's a divine truth. It's a laughable, right? Because it's irrational. But when it's about God, suddenly we're told to switch off reason. If truth requires faith against logic, then faith loses its foundation. Now, I want you to remember that very well. If truth requires faith against logic, then faith loses its foundation. Let's get practical. If Jesus is God, why does he pray? Who is he praying to? Himself? Did God send himself to sacrifice himself to please himself? And on the cross, Jesus cries out, my God, why have you forsaken me? In Matthew 27:46, I believe. How does God forsake God? How does an eternal or powerful being feel abandoned by himself? These are not just mysteries, they are contradictions in action. But here is the truth that my Christian brothers and sisters deny. The word Trinity is never, ever mentioned in the Bible. Jesus never said God is three in one. The earliest Christians did not teach it. Paul did not explain it. It took over 300 years after Jesus for this doctrine to be formally declared at the Council of Nicaea in 325 CE. That's where it all started. That's 3 centuries of Christianity without a Trinity. So, where did the Trinity come from? History shows triad of deities existed long before Christianity. In Egypt, for example, we have Osiris, Isis, and Horus. In Hinduism, we have Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. In Greek, we have Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon. The idea of 3 divine persons was not new. It was absorbed into Christianity as it expanded into Roman and Greek lands, trying to make the faith intellectually acceptable to the pagan world. The Trinity was not a revelation, it was a compromise. Muhammad والسلام, came approximately 600 years after Jesus and cleared the confusion. The Quran says, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد صدق الله العظيم. The translation of the meaning, say He is Allah, the One, Allah the Eternal, the Refuge. He never begets nor is born, and there is none unto like Him. No riddles, no contradictions, no division, just one perfect God, the creator of all that exists. Some say, well, Muhammad came approximately 600 years after Jesus. Okay, so what? Jesus came approximately 1,000 years after Solomon. David came approximately 300 years after Moses. Moses came approximately 400 years after Yusuf, alayhi salam. Yusuf came approximately 200 years after Ismail and Ishaq, who was born 14 years later, by the way. Jesus came approximately over 2,000 years after Abraham. Jesus came approximately 1,400 years after Moses, and so on. We do not differentiate between all the prophets that Allah Azza wa Jal sent. All of them, no exception, preached one message, that is Islam, and not the Trinity. The Trinity is not a solved mystery. It's a theological riddle that violates the very logic we were gifted with, a belief that asks you to believe the unbelievable, accept the irrational, and silence the reason in the name of faith. But truth is never afraid of clarity. Ask yourself, would the true God, the creator of all that exists, the source of reason and intellect, demand you reject the very reason he gave you? Or would he call you to a truth that aligns with heart and mind?